everyone, and welcome to Devils United. Today I'll be doing a player profile on Amad Diallo. I've got Reece. How are you, Reece?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Late night, night owls as we are and stuff.
I call it the right time. Nice and peaceful.
Peaceful, okay. If that's how you want to call it, anyway. You do that. So we'll be doing today about Amad Diallo and at his time at Rangers, and no one better than you to know about Amad. And I'm gonna jump with the first question of how was his time at Rangers for you, because there's been a very mixed reviews from what I've been hearing from social media.
I think probably the best thing is originally I was expecting from obviously playing at Man United, playing at Atalanta briefly. He had some good moments in the United shirt. So I thought coming up to Scotland it would have worked for him in a way, because it's a more physical league. You need to bulk up a bit, and he was still going to get European football. There were still plenty of competitions to play in, so get plenty of appearances. But I think I'm going to be honest. At times, it was very flattering to deceive. There was some chances he had from open play that he absolutely blew it. But it's like the same thing. I'm going to use the same analogy that I used towards, was it Lucia Garcia, that when we watched the Spain-Germany watch-along, like, he's not a striker, he's a winger. And it's the same circumstance, like, from 5-6 yards, even though he's a winger, you should still be scoring that, but he just doesn't have that predatorial instinct. And hence why, instead of putting it in the net, he put it wide as hell. So, but all in all, he had some good moments though. He had some good goals and really fancy footwork. Worked hard. He understood what the manager asked of him. So I think all in all, I'd say at times very flattering to deceive, but also just a joy to watch.
So in the end, would you say it was a good loan spell then for Amad?
I'd say mixed. I'd say okay at best. I'll say okay.
Well, he still won a trophy at Rangers. He won a domestic cup, final of the Europa League. So he's been in 2 Europa League finals 2 years in a row, which for a young age of Amad is very good.
Yeah, absolutely. That experience as well, to go and lift something, is all the more sweeter for a young player. So it was good for him as well, not only to play, but also be involved as the way he was. It was great. He was an absolute nightmare on that right-hand side, especially when he cut into the left as well. Like, he was all over the pitch. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll jump into the comments. I can see there's some in there. Good evening to you, Dara. Hope you're well. Rumour going round Ronaldo tore his ACL in training. First I've heard of it. I've Googled it. There's nothing there in it. So most likely, if it's not being advertised, I don't think it's happened. Have you heard anything about it, Reece? Because I haven't.
No, I haven't. Although I did hear like the humour on TalkSport, like from a clip that was shared, that Celtic's majority shareholder is, like, under the words of Alan Brazil, wants to sign Ronaldo on loan. And then obviously Alan McCoy's on the air told him he's talking shite, it'll never happen. It was just pure funny. I don't think he has injured himself. I think he knows the Champions League is a month and a bit away. He's trying to get to a Champions League club, but he's not going to one.
No. Good evening to you, Helen. Thanks for coming in. I hope you are well. Good evening to you, Ravi. I hope you are well. Thanks for coming into the chat. Hey there, Helgon. Hope you well, and thank you for the congratulations. Whereas it's miserations for Reece. Just thought I'd get that in there as well. 2-1, just like it was in 1966, winning on extra time. Just thought I'd go there too. History repeated itself. 0 years of hurt. Yeah.
Just remember that 1990 still exists. Just remember 1974 still exists. Wembley 1996 counts, and so does South Africa 2010. So
I'll just tell you, 2022 counts not the past. 2022.
Yeah, we'll see what happens going forward. We'll see. You
Yeah.
you can have your dirty cheating defending and the handball that should have been given.
Dirty cheating defending. Germany is dirty cheating defending.
Well, nah, I think we're just very aggressive. Like, you need to learn to give up. I mean, Stanway should have been sent off, and I can't remember who it was, but it was that blonde defender. I think it might be Millie Bright, but that was a handball.
He didn't deserve to go off.
I said Williamson. No. I said Stanway should have been sent off, but it was handball and Millie Bright.
No,
that
should have been Williamson.
Well, what was one?
And it wasn't a handball because it deflected off Millie Bright. That's why it wasn't a handball.
Then they start.
I'm talking like a VAR official, right?
That's shocking. You're talking like a VAR official, like Mike Dean. It's all about the charisma now, not the actual officiating.
Well, you know what, right? Once you actually see Germany's called Diving FC and Crybaby FC, because that's all I see, Germany fans crying because they've lost, right? What can I say? The better team won.
You wish.
Yeah. Dara, I was at the friendly on Sunday. I was there as well. Most entertaining thing was the paper. It was true. It was absolutely true. I was there, right? I was sat on Stretford End. I put up a vlog out for people who hadn't seen it. And what was so funny is that paper airplanes were getting thrown, and it was that from the tickets what people printed from online. And they was trying to get it onto the pitch. And one of them went right next to Ryo's goalkeeper. And he literally seen it on the pitch. He scrunched it up and threw it away. And everyone was booing him for the whole game.
What a shame. If anything, I'd have just threw it back. Like, if we're not even going to get near his net, you may as well just throw the paper airplane back and see how far he can throw it.
Ravi, Maisy and Reece, thank you so much. Ravi, it means a lot for your lovely words. Good evening to you, Rich. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Ronaldo needs to lower his wages and stop acting like a spoiled brat. Yeah, I completely agree. I'll be honest. Same old Germans always whining. Come on, Andrew. I love your comments in the chat. Thanks for coming in, my friend. 3 lines on a shirt, 0 years of hurt.
It's a good thing before you started singing that I just lowered the volume so I didn't hear that. I don't like those songs. You know full well I don't.
My blood is boiling.
Yeah, well, now you know how I feel.
I like coffees in the chat. Hope you well. I was trying to spot Maisy in the stands and the highlights when Amad Diallo scored. You know what I like, Coffee? I was about 3 rows from the front. I wasn't that far at all. And I was right behind the goal, so I'm surprised you didn't see me, to be honest. I tried to look for myself on the camera as well, couldn't find me. So,
I nearly seen you, but like it was just someone else like in front. That was literally it, so I couldn't see you.
Well, what was I wearing then?
I said I couldn't see you.
Oh, good. Amad hopefully gets a chance under Ten Hag. Nearly got one from the upper tier into the goals from the east stand. Wow, great. Richard's asked a good question regarding Amad. Is Diallo good enough? I'd say he probably is good enough, but this player's ahead of him, and the only way he could get into the squad if he was a backup right-wing player. I don't see him getting in as a striker. I know this is going to probably sound bad in terms of height, but I think he's quite small for a striker.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Like in terms of height, like if I walked past him in the street, I probably wouldn't see him. Because I think he is, 5'5", 5'6", like he is very small. But he is lightning quick and he has got very good control on the ball. But I do agree with you, like in terms of there are players ahead of him. I think Palestri's ahead of him, but I think Palestri's going out on loan as well, which is quite interesting. Like I would have sent Diallo back on loan. I think he's good enough for the future for United. I think he is, but personally, I would keep Palestri and I would loan Diallo out, like to a club within the league that plays a similar style, maybe a Brighton, where he is going to get more game time, where there are players there who have got injury records that are extremely shocking. He could easily quite get in. And also under Graham Potter, I'm not a massive fan of Graham Potter, but he does give young players a chance. We've seen that with Caicedo. We've seen that like throughout. I think he would give him opportunities. And obviously, he plays a 3-4-3, so he plays with wingers, so it gives him something. So I think that would make a lot of sense for him. I don't really see any other clubs in the Premier League that would work for him. Like other than maybe Brighton. Try to think of anyone else really, but I just can't.
I think maybe even Villa could be a good option, to be honest.
Are they though? Because look at it right now, they're playing that 4-3-2-1, so they're not even playing two wide players, they're playing two number 10s.
4-2-3-1.
4-3-2-1. And they're playing that 4-4-2 diamond as well. They're basically playing They're basically playing what Ralph did with 4-2-2, except it's a 3-man midfield and two wide 10.
Crystal Palace then?
Could work. That would actually be a really good option, and Vieira would at least make him work up a bit in terms of like his physical presence. Yeah. Question is, though, first of all, would Palace actually come for him? Because I don't know if Palace have actually signed anyone. Same with Brighton, I suppose.
They have signed people. They signed Sam Johnstone from West Brom.
I knew about that.
They signed Malcolm Iwobi from Derby on a free as well. I think they signed around 4 players.
Okay. I'm not sure in terms of like forward additions. That's my only thing.
He is a forward player, Malcolm Iwobi, yeah. But he's 16, 17.
Oh, so he is 100% one for the future then. He's not immediate. Okay. He's not one I'm really familiar with, so I can't really...
He was linked to Man United.
Who isn't these days? I mean, Schneider's still linked to us. Okay, but if that's the case then, I don't see why not then. But it only really depends if he goes for it, but that's if he's willing to take a chance. I mean, I'm
about Michael Iwobi. So he initially signed from Chelsea. He was in Chelsea's youth team. He was also at Arsenal. He was also at Rangers. So how did you not know him? He was from the Rangers Academy.
No, I've only been watching the Rangers Academy like 3 or 4 years, but I don't remember seeing him. So.
Iwobi made his senior debut in 8th of February 2022 as he came on as a substitute in the 3-1 win against Hull City. On the 30th of April 2022, Iwobi scored his first senior goal when Derby was in the lead 2-1 against Blackpool, and then he signed to Crystal Palace on a 5-year deal. He can play as a striker and he can also play as a winger as well.
What's his frame?
What?
What's his frame, like height? Because like if that's the case, like if he is fairly tall, he'll be ahead of Diallo easily.
1.85 meters.
Christ.
And in feet, that's 6 foot.
So he's definitely ahead of Diallo by several feet. But that's the implication of it, though. Really, that I don't see him going. I wouldn't mind him going though. If he went to Palace, I'd be okay with that.
But if you want me to be honest, I know you did mention that you'd rather keep Palestri over Amad. But if I was going to have the option, I would rather keep Amad over Palestri.
That's fair.
The only reason why is because we've seen Amad play in the Premier League. We've seen Amad play in the Europa League. We know what he can be playing like for Manchester United. We've seen that he scored against Milan, I believe, that headed goal, what was assisted by Bruno in the Europa League. So we know if he gets in them right spaces, he will score a goal or two for Manchester United. And you know that he's got a high jump. Even though he's small, he's got a high jump on him and he's quick. So even though he's not a winger, we can still put him on the wings if it's needed, or we can play him as if we was to play 2 at the front, which I know we won't, but it's that option. And especially knowing that we're low on strikers and in Ronaldo goals, maybe we might have to keep him for a backup striker to Martial.
That's why I was more like, I get where you're coming from in terms of a backup striker. I was more thinking about the wingers. That's why I was more for Pellistri in that sense, because he's done it for Uruguay as well. So, and he was they've mentioned in the live chat Garnacho. I hope to hell he doesn't go on loan. I hope he stays. But Pellistri obviously starts for the Uruguay team. He's unfortunately didn't work out his second loan spell at Alaves. But I do get your point in terms of as a striker position. Whoever does stay though, I'd like them to get fair opportunities. I'm just not sure Diallo is there yet. He still needs to bulk a fair bit. But his technical ability is superb. Like, that's one thing that's not in question with me. I've seen it numerous times. He's clearly got superior technical skills than Pellistri. Mm-hmm. He definitely does.
Yeah. Good evening, Tony. I hope you're well. So what I was going to say about Amad as well, I know you said that Pellistri has played for Uruguay, but Amad has also played for the Ivory Coast. And not just that, he's played at a high level for the Ivory Coast. He played in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And in terms of more success, in terms of, how can I explain it? In terms of higher level terms of football, Amad has been there what Pellistri hasn't been at. I haven't even seen hardly anything of Pellistri when he's been on loan. And
I don't watch Alaves, so.
And the thing is about Pellistri, I don't know if he could do it in the Premier League. He's so technically brilliant, but because he's played abroad twice already, how are we meant to know that he could be fragile in the Premier League? We don't know if he's flopping there. And that is why we should have been loaning him out to the likes of the Championship clubs and building him up from there. And I think it's a wrong mistake loaning him out abroad twice.
Like, I think there's some very good clubs in, like, if he does go on loan, there's some fairly decent clubs in the Premier League. The crazy thing is, though, is where Pellistri goes, do you want to play as a winger? Do you want to play as a wide midfielder? Because if you're going to play him as a wide midfielder, then he goes to clubs like Southampton, who play wide midfielders, not wingers. Or you send them to, depending on how they do, maybe a Villa if they change to a system that involves wingers, or you send them to Everton. Please no, but it's the same circumstance. Or you send them to a Wolves, or you send them to a West Ham. Like, there's still potential to get to those sides.
I don't think though West Ham is gonna do any signings with them. They've already got near enough a solid team. So the only player they was looking at loaning was Brozier, and they've signed obviously a striker now. And apart from that, what Manchester United young player do you think West Ham would take? Because I can't think of any.
None. Actually, I was just trying to think of clubs in this for my head. I mean, Leicester are lacking a right winger right now. Well, they're lacking a football team, but I suppose he could go there. Anything, to be honest, I'm not bothered which one goes out on loan. I want both of them to do really well because I rate both players. I still think from a perspective of what we need in our team right now, I would still favour more Pellistri. But I do get your points on Amad though. Like, the one thing he has done at Rangers is he did play, even though he isn't natural, he did play at times through the middle. Played through the middle in the Scottish Cup. So that is a very...
He wouldn't have played in the middle if Morelos wasn't injured.
100% no, not a chance.
Because no one gets ahead of Morelos, a fully fit Morelos.
No, not even Kolak, who was utter shite tonight. But yeah, 100% nobody does, because he is by far the best striker at the club. And he's one of the top strikers in the league. And he's very underrated as well. I'm surprised no Premier League club has actually tried to steal him. Like, he would have been perfect for, like, even though they signed Edward, he would have been perfect for Vieira's Palace team. He actually would And you know else, he would be perfect for a Raul Jimenez replacement at Wolves.
You know what? I'm going to let you into a little secret. When I used to play on my FIFA 20, I'd done loads of teams, and I used to always sign Morelos because that's how highly I rated him as a striker. I used to always sign him on the FIFA 20s.
I like him. I think he's wonderful. Like, he's a classic shithouse attacker. Like,
he's just got a bit of a temper. I think that's his downfall. He's got a little bit of a temper. and he will get a lot of bookings in the Premier League.
And sending offs, like he's done that, but he guarantees you goals, and he's a winner. And he hates those. If he had just been a little bit more fitter, he would have played in that Europa League final. He would have been, and that's the one thing that annoyed me because we lost to a Colombian scoring a penalty. It would have been nice to see a Colombian score the winning penalty for us, but nah. But if anything, he is a quality player. But that's the good thing about football is the versatile options like Diallo, Palestra there. I've already mentioned I really like Garnacho, but like that's something. But I'm looking on the back of it. What does Diallo bring you though? He brings you really good footwork. He brings you technical skills. He's got good vision. He does press the ball.
I think he's got a good IQ.
Yeah, he's smarter than one or two of our forward players.
Is that
without
hard?
question? No.
Oh, there you go then.
But there's a few in question, obviously. But if you mention player names these days, it's automatically an agenda when it's no agenda at all.
I'm gonna say something about Amad. What I think is different compared to our other strikers. I
Go
think
on.
he's good in narrow, tight spaces.
Actually, that's a good point because if you go back and watch his highlights against Hearts in the Scottish Cup final,
I watched that game.
You did, so did I. Obviously, I was watching. But if you do watch him in that final, it's a very good point. He was actually doing it against Rayo Vallecano as well, although it was very few and far between because we did nothing in that game. Like even after he scored, we didn't do anything. But in those spaces, he really is effective. But we don't have anyone else that's going to work with him, and that's for right now. If that's what you want from a player, like you're really good in the narrow spaces, but then nobody's working around them unless they're going to be listening to the coach.
I think though, if we was to play Amad up front, if we was to keep him, I think Ericsson would be the best person to have in the 10.
And who would you play behind them though?
Behind what? What if we played a 4-2-3-1?
Let's just stick with a 4. Let's just do 4-3-3 as a bit.
That wouldn't work then, would it? Because I'm thinking of Ericsson in the number 10.
I'm just trying to escape your 4-2-3-1 agenda. That's why I said 4-3-3.
I don't have agendas. If you want me to be honest, I would actually in them type of games. I'd rather Bruno plays an 8 because we know he can play as an 8, Ericsson as a 10, and Amad up front. But if Martial was up front, I would rather have Bruno in the 10, just because Bruno with Martial link-up plays great.
Mm-hmm. It is really effective, that link-up.
Yeah.
I want to see Amad obviously given an opportunity. I just think he needs that Premier League loan.
If that opportunity though at United, we need people from the Europa League.
But is he actually going to? I don't see him getting much opportunities. That's my problem. I don't see many this year, unless Ten Hag decides all the group stage games, round of 32, round of 16.
It depends who United.
Or it also depends if United finish second in the group. So if you finish second in the group, you go into the preliminary rounds, which can still happen. Depending on what United do.
Get looked into the Conference League.
Thanks for reminding me. But if we are going to play him though, then fine. I just think he really does need to add a bit to his physical presence first. Because one thing is like, you know me, I like Elanga. Elanga has that physical presence, but Elanga doesn't have that technical ability.
No, and that's why I think he should go. I was actually talking about this to my dad about Anthony Elanga actually. And we both agreed that Elanga needs to go to the Championship.
Yeah.
And the team, what we have said for the Championship will be Sheffield United.
Okay. Did they? What's this? That's the thing. I don't watch them, so like I'm gonna need to hear your reason behind it.
What do you mean, what my reasons behind Sheffield United?
Yeah.
I think, in my personal opinion, in terms of going to a championship club, you want to go to a championship club was going to compete in the championship. And you know that Sheffield United, for one, is going to do that. They got into the playoffs. They're only going to improve upon that. And they play in different formations. I've seen in the 4-3-3. I've seen them play as a 3-4-1-2 formation. I've seen them in different formations. And knowing Alanga is so young, I think he can benefit as well from the different formations, see what suits him. Because we know that Alanga is a striker, and we know that he doesn't have that self-awareness at times. And it'd be good that he has an experienced striker next to him. If that's going to provide to him, or if Alanga's going to provide to that other striker, or if that other striker is going to provide to Alanga, just for that little bit of confidence, for that little bit of experience.
No, I get that. I get your reason behind that now. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of. I'm not really much of a championship fan or a watcher of the championship. So, teams wise, I wouldn't be the one to go, that makes sense, or that one doesn't make sense. That's why I really would need to hear the reason behind it. So I do get your point behind that one now. I think that's a really good shout. I think that would be a good shout. It's probably the only one I can think. Less is more for me. Less is more.
And another championship club, even though they wouldn't compete for the playoffs, I wouldn't mind someone going to Blackpool.
Oh, Blackpool.
They play as a 4-3-3. I think when you're going to want to be loaning a player out, you want them to at least play similar formations to what Manchester United is. So it's building them up to Manchester United. Or to try them in different ones to see what's going to suit the player. We know that Blackpool play a 4-3-3. I'd say they're about a mid-table team in the Championship. They could get to playoffs if they really tried, but I don't know. And I think what I like about Blackpool, they're a young team. They like to promote the youth and they like to build up the youth. They've actually got a Manchester City player on loan at the moment, and he's been playing through the middle in the 4-3-3. So, I think...
Who's that this thing?
What?
Who is that this thing?
You won't know him.
Oh, that's a good thing. Okay.
But I think it'd be good for... If a manager is promoting the youth and wanting to use the youth, you want a kind of a player to go to a club like that. And we've seen as well Swansea, they've been good at that. We've seen what they've done with Ethan Led.
Yeah, I was actually going to say like maybe Birmingham. I mean, we've loaned Menge, we've loaned Chong to them recently, but I don't know what.
But the situation with the owners at the moment, they don't want to buy any players in, or they don't want to loan anyone in. They want to leave the club as it is because the owners really don't care.
Yeah, Christ. Well, that nails that one then. Fair enough.
Let's go through some of the comments anyway, because I know there's quite a few comments since we've last jumped into them. Dara's question: should Garnacho start on Sunday? Personally, in my opinion, no, but I think he should come off the bench.
Yeah. Would
you agree?
I'd love to see Garnacho play on Sunday. I think this would be a really good game for him, especially if it's against an opposition that's fairly experienced. It's got a bit of a weakness on that. Like I would say, like Lamptey on his own. I don't know if he's going to need players around him, especially with Garnacho's pace. Garnacho's brilliant on the ball. He's got a good pass on him. He's got a good delivery as well from a cross. And he's got instinct to beat players. He doesn't just run at players for 20 yards and then run into them like a Dan James, for example. Or he doesn't run and then stop and then look around and go for a pass. No, he's always forward thinking. It's always quick movement with Garnacho. And I think against a team like against Brighton, for example, and if Eriksen plays from the off, good passing for him as well. They can link him with Martial, because I expect Martial to start, and I hope Sancho plays on the right-hand side.
If he's feeling better.
Yeah, that realistically be my front four. To an extent, I do agree with Bruno in that 8 role, because Bruno's got more energy to burn up and down Whereas Eriksen, to a degree, he isn't, even though he did actually run a lot against Vallecano, I would rather him be in those areas where he can just pick up the ball to feet and then he can just start spraying passes or take an effort himself. And you've got players running around him in that sense. I would like that, but it really does depend on what we do against Brighton. But I've got no issue with Garnacho starting. None.
I like coffee. I joined just in time to hear Maisy singing It's Coming Home once again.
Please don't sing that song.
Maisy with a voice of an angel.
Mm.
Andrew, I think Garnacho is better than Rashford. It's not hard to be better than Rashford, I must be fairly honest. Reece Maisy, who would you say is playing in defence for United? I would personally say Luke Shaw's apparently injured, so Malacia most likely is going to be on the left. On the right hand side is Diallo. And as the centre back partnership, I'm going to go with Martinez and Varane. What about you, Reece?
I think as much as I would really like to go with that back four, I really would. I do think one of them might change just because obviously price tag, status at the club, and price expectation.
Tag, it's not about the price tag, Ten Hag says.
Yeah, but in this case, you never know. Like circumstance, it's always the same. Obviously, I want Ten Hag to do really well, and I know for a fact he will stamp his authority and he'll show decision making key over time. But as much as I would like that same back four, I do think it's going to be Martinez and Maguire. It's not what I want per se. I would rather have Varane, Martinez, because I thought that back four was actually quite decent. I like the use of Malacia already, like bombing up and down the wings. Like his delivery's been fantastic. Martinez has settled into Old Trafford like a duck to water. Diallo, he is questionable, but I think so far under Ten Hag, he's actually been fairly decent on that right-hand side. I'm just looking at other areas.
That's banned.
Here, I had to listen to you sing England songs. I'm going to compliment
I'll sing it again.
I dare you. I'll compliment Diallo for the rest of the show if you keep singing England songs.
Don't compliment him then.
Diallo was brilliant in our first game. And actually, here's another one. And you can't deny this. He was actually, even though it was a pre-season game and it was his unwanted crap, he was good. I'm going to say it, he was good against Liverpool.
It's a pre-season game. Watch him get exposed, right? On the right hand side. He will get right. I bet you if he plays all 38 games, he will get exposed in 30 of them.
But he's our right back for a reason though. Not because we haven't signed one, but because he doesn't trust Wan-Bissaka, because Wan-Bissaka is not good enough as a progressive player. Diallo isn't a great defender either. Like Diallo can't defend for Toffee.
He'd rather attack than he would defend. And I actually think Wan-Bissaka is a better right back than.
If we're defending,
if you looked at crosses in the box, Wan-Bissaka has made better crosses in the box than Diallo. You tell me, what successful cross have you seen of Diallo? I've seen 5 successful crosses from last season. Do not mention pre-season.
None.
There you go.
But that's the thing, though. That was the past. We're not here to discuss the past.
Are you talking about everyone deserves a fresh start?
Not everyone. But
everyone deserves a fresh start. So does Maguire. So does Scott McTominay. So does Marcus Rashford. So does Bill Jones. He deserves a fresh start then. If that's what you're going to say, then why not then?
That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is he's been given that role for a reason by Ten Hag, because Ten Hag clearly trusts him. And I think Ten Hag knows he can coach him better than he can coach Wan-Bissaka. And I think even you can see from that, it's clear as obvious. I would rather have Ethan Laird than the two of them, though. I would rather have Ethan Laird right now. But it's clear as hell. He sees a reason in Diallo as his right back, not Wan-Bissaka.
You know what? I don't believe in fresh starts. Neither do I, Andrew. I don't believe in fresh starts when it comes to certain people. So
I'm not saying that I'm not saying he's entitled to a fresh start either. I'm not saying anyone deserves that. He's got to work for it. But it's clear and obvious, since day one, Ten Hag's made him his right back. So there must be a clear reason why he wants him as his
Because he's the best out of a bad bunch.
I wouldn't even go that far. I wouldn't even go best in a bad bunch either, because bad bunch is a bit of an insult to bad bunches.
I will tell you how much I don't like Diallo. I literally play 2 left backs as a full back than I actually use Diallo and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I literally put him on the right hand side.
Yeah, I've seen that somewhere.
You see me do it against you on FIFA.
Yeah, you still lost.
No, I didn't. We drew that game.
No, we did not.
Yes, we did.
No,
that
we didn't.
Game was a draw. It was a 3-3 draw.
Keep dreaming.
Do you want me to get a scoreline from yesterday out?
Don't even dare.
Right,
Don't even dare bring that up. We're not having that.
I thought not.
But I'm still going by the words that himself. You know, he did say that. He has put him as his right back. I would rather we sign a right back right now, but we're not going to do it. We aren't going to make any more signings, by the way. I don't see us actually making any more signings. I think that's it. 3 and done. Walk away. I literally think that's it. I'd be surprised if we do.
It'll be deadline day.
Well, probably some randomer. Like right now, I'd have James Tavernier right.
On a free. Thank you. Many thanks.
Like even though he's the Rangers captain, he's the most prolific fullback of the last decade. I'd rather, in terms of goals and assists, I'd have James Tavernier at Rangers right back right now.
I said to you I'd have him at United the other day.
Yeah, because he's brilliant from a set piece. I think I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to get slaughtered for this. I think he's better than Kieran Trippier from a set piece.
I agree.
But I've actually said that to people, and I've been slaughtered for it. I was like, you are delusional.
Coffee Rays, I like coffee, by the way. Helen has asked, what side do you think Ten Hag will put out on Sunday? It is De Gea, Diallo, Varane, Martinez, Malacia, McFred, Sancho, Bruno, Sancho, Martial.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I think we already know who the goalkeeper is, so there's no point in questioning that. I think it's going to be this. What about
Tom Heaton? He might get a start.
I don't think he will.
Come on, don't be tight to Tom Heaton.
I'm not being tight.
He deserves minutes. He deserves minutes.
There's not being tight here. I just don't think he is going to start, really. I think you'll make him start in the Carabao Cup games. It'll come up eventually, but I don't think he is going to justice for Tom Heaton. I already told you, I wanted Sergio Romero back. So can we just leave it at that? In terms of the team, though, I think it will, to your begrudging pain, I do think it'll be Diallo. I think Maguire will start beside Martinez, and I think Malacia will start, although I'd rather have Varane than Martinez, because Martinez is our best defender. Just saying. Midfield, I'd have Eriksen, Fred, because I don't think he's going to play. If he is going to play Bruno and Eriksen, I think, as much as I do agree with you having Bruno in the 8 and Eriksen the 10, I think Eriksen's going to play in the pivot, Bruno playing the 10 role, Sancho on the right. I'd like Garnacho to start on the left, but it's probably going to be Rashford, and then Martial up top. Or Martial left, Ronaldo up front would actually probably be better. But I honestly don't know what team we play, just as long as we win and we play good football. What?
My banner.
I've already seen it. I laughed.
Laugh harder.
No. No, I won't.
I laughed hard when Germany lost, by the way.
You are
Andrew said United should go De Gea, Diallo, Shaw, Maguire, Martinez, Eriksen, Fred, Bruno, Sancho, Garnacho, Martial, but they will. I think, you know what? That's
like
not
that.
a bad shout, you know. I would actually really like Ericsson and Fred to be together.
Diallo Shaw as well at fullback, though, is most likely to happen. I do think this is, unless something goes catastrophically wrong, this is Shaw's last season as first choice left back. I think Malacia will take over the following season. I say catastrophically wrong because he might end up actually turning into a really good defender. But I don't think we will. I don't see him actually doing any better. But one thing he can do, although he's not a great player, he is actually a decent progressor. But I want to see him actually do more going forward. Fred, I don't have to praise this guy enough. I already have to defend him on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. I like Coffee. Pogba definitely doesn't deserve another fresh start. You know this, I like Coffee. And I like Coffee's covering his ears because of what you said about Trippier.
Yeah. He isn't even going to get a fresh start at Juventus because he's already injured.
There was another comment in the chat. I think it was Helen says she 100% backed me. I think it was something like that. Rich said Arteta Wi-Fi is where I am. Who doesn't love Arteta Wi-Fi?
At least it's not Lampard Wi-Fi.
Should we talk about this, by the way? Thanks for bringing it up. I like Coffee. Let's talk about it. Where apparently we took about 5 minutes from the corner flag, and then we crossing, and then we cheated our way, and then it went into the goal, and then that should have been offside, and then she shouldn't have took her top off, and then then it should have been 1-1. It should have gone to penalties, and then we would have beat you. This is what a Germany fan would say.
Was that trying to take a mick out of my accent? Because that was utter crap.
No, I'm taking the mick out of German fans. If I don't talk Scottish.
I don't talk Scottish either. I talk English.
There was no goal of the tournament, I like Coffee. But the goal of the tournament would definitely be Chloe Kelly, don't you think? I'm kidding, by the way. The goal of the tournament for me, it would have to be Russo's back heel.
Yeah.
I was thinking, were you even listening?
No, I turned my volume back up for that one.
Yeah, Russo's back heel for me.
Yeah, that was a nice goal. That was a nice goal.
The Tooney goal, I nearly broke my No, Joe, at United finish, right? And I was in the Munich tunnel, and I was watching the game from in there. I literally full on jumped like that. I was like,
I'm surprised you had Wi-Fi in there.
No, I watched it on the telly.
Fair enough. I will say this though, at least you've got something. Because it doesn't matter where I go now, I don't get good Wi-Fi signal, so I'd rather be in the pub watching it. But I've already painfully and begrudgingly congratulated them, and I will never do it again. It's the only thing she did the whole game. The important thing is it was a good pass. I have to give her that. I do give her props. I thought she was excellent, but I'm not going to give any credit to the fraud that played beside her. That's all I'm going to say.
I won't give her praise. I don't like her. Oh yeah, Tooney says she taught Harry Kane. I don't know if you've seen the video, but she was Harry Kane was in awe over Ella Toon. I just went, yeah, I taught him that.
For which part?
All parts.
To be fair, I think the England women's team are trying to teach the men how to win, but you can't teach people that don't know how to win. There's no point.
Well, Germany had winning mentality until they see in England.
Yeah, I've already given you credit enough. Can we just stop now?
No. Let's not stop. The chip. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that was very classic.
Teams do you think will win this weekend? I am going to do a Premier League prediction this weekend, but I have predicted a few teams. I predicted Liverpool to win. I'm going to give you that much for you, Helen. But you'll see it all on Thursday what I've predicted.
Hell's Gone Wheels. Thank you. See, it's not just me, so there you go. And yes, spot on. Imagine if the Germans done that.
Well,
we wouldn't hear you shout about it.
Werps is the best. I'm only Werps.
She's a phenomenal goalkeeper. She's a phenomenal goal. Anyway,
best in the world.
Anyway, I don't want to be rude, but can we get back to talking about Diallo? Because that's why I'm here. I'm not here to talk about England. Like, no offense.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No offense.
Offense taken. Now, what we'll do, I know we've spoke about Amad anyway, so before we do wrap up, for you,
yeah,
if Amad was to play at Manchester United and stay, where do you think he'd fit? And do you think he's ready for Man United?
First team straight away? No. On the bench? Yeah. I would say so. I'd say he's good enough to play in that squad, but he's not a guaranteed start for me. Right wing or left wing? I'm not sure about through the middle. And yeah, Mago and Dabritz was definitely...
I thought you didn't want to talk about the Orals anymore. We wanted to talk about Amad, didn't you?
I'm just replying to a comment, that's all. I'm just replying to a comment. But in regards to... I would only say on the wings. I don't want him playing through the middle. For me, it's just Ronaldo, or unless he stays, Martial. But if Ronaldo goes, then we get someone else in.
Okay.
Keyword.
But what, left hand side, right hand side?
Predominantly right hand side for me. I want us to play with an inverted option.
But do you think he's better? Do you think he's better with his right foot?
No.
I don't think he's better on the right then.
Because he's a left foot. He's a left footer. I like inverted wingers.
Yeah, and that like you could say Brandon Williams is an inverted fullback because he's a left back who's right footed.
He just isn't that good a player.
But still.
It's a fair point, but I like left footers cutting in from that right hand side on their left foot, so they've got that angle where they can hit the corner. It's the same with Sancho on the left cutting with his right foot. But then again, though, you could easily put Diallo on the left, and you could easily put Sancho on the right. To me, it makes no difference, but for me, I'd rather have him on the right hand side because that's where he played. That's where he played it for Rangers as well. He played on that right hand side.
I think what doesn't help Amad is the price tag, what we paid for him, and I think a lot of people expect a lot more from him because we waited a couple of months for him. He cost 30 million, and I think that's obviously no fault of Amad's. It's fault of the both for spending that much on a very young player who actually barely made any appearances for Atalanta.
Yeah, he only played.
I think he played for like 5 games, didn't he, or something?
Yeah, it was less than 100. It was like less than 145 minutes or something. They played first team football for Atalanta, and then we decided to spend 30+ million on him. I mean, I think even math understanding it was bonkers at the time. I mean, we already spent like 10 million on Hannibal, and Hannibal's still trying to get his way into the first team. Like he's getting decent games on the tour, but he's still fighting his way. Like Garnacho's closer to getting into the first team than Hannibal Meshby is, and Hannibal's a fantastic player. But that's also because there's players.
Iqbal's got a better chance than Hannibal at the moment.
Yeah.
And even Charlie Savage.
Because they can slot into the double pivot, and I hate the double pivot. And I hate saying it, I prefer as much as I like that sort of system, I hate a double. I prefer single. I would have Savage in the 6. You could have Iqbal in the 8 role as well, but there's players ahead of him, obviously. I
think the thing is with Savage though, he plays more defensive minded, and I think he would be good to. He's good to have as a bit of a backup, and I actually think if he does continue, I think he'd be one of the players who could potentially succeed at Man United, especially if we don't be so stupid and reject a 30 million bid for Scott McTominay.
That's if 30 million comes in.
We actually did reject it, by the way, from a club abroad. We rejected 35 mil.
Who was this club that?
I don't know.
That is mental. But I'll say this, and I'm not kidding. That's the first time I've heard that.
I read it a couple of days ago. Was it about 2-3 days ago?
Whoever this is, I think it's crazy. That is crazy. But I would have taken it.
We rejected it. I literally would have sold Scott McTominay for a packet of Smarties and a banana.
He's not even Scotland's best midfield player, and I'm having to tell people this all the time. He plays centre back for a reason, because he doesn't get ahead of Gilmore and he doesn't get ahead of John McGinn. But I'm having to tell people this a lot, that they think they know better than me, and I'm Scottish. Like, you're trying to tell me you know better than me. Like, I know my country better.
Well, the thing is, do you even have centre backs to play him as a centre back?
John Souttar plays for Rangers. You've got McKenna. And then you've got
playing as a centre back then if you've got other options.
Because he's 6'4", and apparently he's a good progressor of the ball. I've yet to be convinced by that. All he does is hit it long.
And hit it long where?
Hell. I take bananas in installments.
Hey there, CM. I hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. We'll wrap it up here anyway. Thanks for coming on, Reece. It's been great.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's always good to chat to you, Maisy.
Yeah. Would you like to shout your socials as well?
Yeah, it's just this one right here. Devil's Rising, Twitter and YouTube. Because I don't really pay attention to Twitch that much now, but I really need to.
Yeah. I've put your YouTube link in the description below, so if you haven't already, go and subscribe to Reece's channel. I'll be next live myself. It will be on Thursday actually now. I will be doing a Brighton preview. I've got a Brighton fan coming on. Don't ask how I found Brighton fans, because I don't know many. So don't ask where I found them from. So yeah, I've got a Brighton preview on Thursday alongside John coming on for the Premier League prediction show. On Friday, I've got a whole City fan on for a player profile of Bernard, Manchester United young player. Thought it'd be good to touch on a little bit before the season starts for Man United. I know he hasn't moved on loan yet, so it's good to explore other options. Who knows? But go and check them out. And if you haven't already, go and check out the Fantasy Football. Join the league there, D76 IRQ. And if you do join that league, you do have a chance of winning a free ticket to Manchester United women at Old Trafford. So go and join that there if you do want to join Manchester United women. Thank you as well, JR, means a lot. And thank you as well, Football Power Hour. I watched your clip before and it was great. Keep up the good work, my friend. We'll see you all anyway Thursday. I won't be streaming during the weekend. I'm going away for the weekend. So we'll see you all very, very soon. See you Thursday. Bye-bye.